Well, good morning, everybody. How's everything going today? Welcome to Ecartalks, where we talk about everything and anything that has to do with the automotive industry and your needs. Most of what we talk about on this show is internet buying and what that happens and how that works today as far as resources available to you, the consumer. More importantly, to give you tips and direction on what to do in regards to purchasing online. Today we've got a special guest with us. We have Alan Stearns with us from ATM Cars. He owns a dealership and has been a dealer for many, many years in the Texas area as well as Florida. He's got a video that he's just done recently, how to buy a used car. And we're going to talk extensively with him in regards to what it takes to look at purchasing a car in today's market, what the do's and don'ts are, what to specifically look for, and more importantly, what happens when you finally get to that car that you've purchased or the car that you're looking to purchase online. I know we've talked about many, many times in the past where if you have a vehicle that you have an interest in, and more importantly, it gets to the point of that's the vehicle for you, you really want to make sure it's the car. What are your options and what are your choices? Alan's video will go into extensive detail for you as to how to really look at that car inside and out, more specifically the paintwork, maybe damage to it, how's that car going to represent, and more importantly, what that car is going to be worth down the line. So I'd like to introduce him. Alan, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good. Listen, I just wanted to say, I know we've done this before, but things have changed in the market a little bit in the sense of I think that people are really not just visually and looking at their car, they're really doing more background and they're really doing more detailed searches on the vehicles to make sure that that's exactly what they're getting. Do you find that to be true at your dealership nowadays as far as being compared to other dealerships and other websites?
Well, what I find is that a lot of the public is generally more educated in the marketplace, but not as much about the product's condition as they are consumed generally with the price.
So price points are important today, just as it was 20, 30 years ago in this business. Do you see there's a lot more negotiation nowadays than there used to be, or are there just more comparison shopping these days?
Comparison shopping is actually ideal and something I would highly recommend. Not only the background of the dealer you're doing business with, but the product that you're purchasing. There's nothing more important to me, of course, than condition. So, you know, that's what I spend all my time on, is condition, trying to find the right car, and of course at the right price.
So if I'm going online, and I've checked your website out here recently, in fact, you guys are very thorough. You're a highly rated eBay website, is that correct?
Feedback means everything to me, and also it has people look at feedback. They look at the comments that are made by other people. You know, not just the feedback there, but we're members of the Better Business Bureau. I want people to have access to that, to check out the history of the dealership. I think that testimonials, we have some video testimonials, we have some written testimonials. We just pride ourselves not only in the product, but in our customers, our repeat business. And I love their comments. Everywhere that my business is advertised, we make it possible for people to comment on what they're reading, what they're seeing, and actually their conversations with us.
So kind of walk me through this. If I'm interested in a car on your website, I noticed the other day you had, I don't know if you still have it, you may have sold it because it's a great car. It's a Dodge Challenger, if I'm not mistaken.
Gone.
It's gone? Okay, well, that was a good one as an example for me. I looked through it. It was very complete, very detailed. You had a lot of information, not just in written information, but you also had a great number of pictures, very clear, very concise. You had a video that represented the vehicle extremely well. So if that were the car for me, and I would say in the other side of Fort Worth, which is about a 30, 45 minute drive from here, what can I expect when I come out and look at that vehicle? Am I going to expect that car to look exactly as you've displayed it to be, or am I going to be able to really look hard at it, maybe do a secondary inspection, or maybe inspect the car myself? I mean, is that something that is on the norm for a consumer nowadays?
Well, I wish it was the norm. People get caught up again in price, which is important, and I certainly don't blame people, especially in this economy. And my grandfather said something, that everything that we save stays in our pocket and not theirs. And if they don't deserve that amount of money for something, they shouldn't be getting it. You can figure out price and market rather quickly by just comparing pricing online with miles, equipment, color, and condition, which can be done relatively quick.
Well, what I did notice as well too is that you're also, most recently, and I did see it on your site, there was a link to it, it was something about how to car shop, how to buy a used car. And I clicked on that, just kind of review it a little bit, and lo and behold, there's an actual video there that shows you how to purchase that used car, you know, what to look for, what the condition is. Overall, has it been painted, has it been wrecked? What damage has been done, to what extent has the damage been to that vehicle. I know we have as consumers availability of different things for us, but there seemed to be a pretty concise, very detailed report on what to do when you finally get to look at that car. Is that true? Is that what you've got going on?
Well, it's very true, and it's just it's a tool. It's my number one tool.
Okay.
It's a tool that I've made available to the public, the lay person, hoping that they would consider condition as important as price. The reason being mainly is because if these pictures that you talk about or these videos that we talk about, you can cut, you can paste, you can crop, you can do all kinds of things to make something look good online. And we know that most people are visual. They want a nice color, they have an interior color, they have equipment, but they really don't spend enough time on the most important aspect to me, and I have 39 years doing this, which is condition. It's always been stressed to me over and over again, people that I learned from that taught me that condition is the most important part of what I do. The vehicle that you're talking about was a vehicle that looked like it never left the showroom, had relatively very low miles on it.
Yeah, it was less than 1,000 if I remember.
Had 800 and something miles by the time we delivered it.
That's unheard of.
It was the first year that the Dodge Challenger Hemi SRT8 came out.
Mm-hmm.
More of a collector car or a museum car. It actually, we delivered that to a Dodge dealer. Called us and asked if we would sell it to them, and of course we will. Sell to anybody.
It's all for sale.
But it's funny that Dodge dealer asked me some of the questions that you're bringing up. He asked me, were there any road chips, was there any paint work? And I told him that in our description that we go to great lengths. We spend an hour and a half describing the vehicle online. And then we go to just the same length of time of making sure that the features and the options are all marked off on that vehicle. So you know exactly what you're getting. But at the same time, what I started to bring up earlier, and I won't quit talking about, is you can make anything look good in a picture, and you can make it sound good on the telephone. But there's a criteria, and in this howtocarshop.com, it's a $4.99 download. There's also a DVD available for $12.50, whichever works best for you. But it takes you from beginning to end on the exact process I follow when purchasing a vehicle.
Okay.
So it makes it it sounds like you take 39 years and crunch it into 22 minutes. How do you do that? That's because all I focus on is condition and teaching you how to spot the same things that I look for, and also trying to relay the importance of buying a car that has not been previously damaged or abused in any way.
Okay, so basically, I'm as a layman or as a consumer can download the video for $4.99, which I get it instantly once I do it, and I have access to all the information that you would have on the DVD. It's basically a download of the DVD, and then I can in turn study it, learn from it, and follow the same process you do, whether it's an auction or maybe a repair shop or facility or whatever the case may be. I can do the exact same thing that you do to that car before you offer it for sale. Is that correct?
Identical. And let's just put it this way. If at the end of 20 minutes, so it's a 22-minute video, at the end of 20 minutes and you, for some reason, whatever it may be, are confused, or you say, how do I take this information into the dealership with me? You don't have to worry about it. There's two questions that you can ask. One question specifically at the end of the video. You can write it down, take it with you, look at the vehicle that you're interested in, ask this one question to the salesman, who will probably refer you to the manager, ask it to the manager, and if the manager can't give you an affirmative, positive yes to your question, just leave. Because you know that if they don't know, and you don't know, and you're spending $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 or more of your money, why would you purchase a vehicle for someone that can't tell you about the history of that car and represent it from bumper to bumper the way that it should be?
Well, coming back to history, I'm glad you brought that up. And by the way, folks, if you want to talk to Alan, call in. You can call us at 323-693-3810. Alan would love to hear from you. I'd be more than happy to talk with you as well. But Alan's going to be here for the remainder of the show. But it's 323-693-3810. Going back to condition and history, how accurate do you think the history reports are on these vehicles? I mean, are they as accurate as can be, or there's still, as we determine in this business, there's still issues or there's still some concerns with these vehicles? I mean, the accuracy of these Carfax reports and auto checks, are they really complete?
Well, the main reason that auto check and Carfax, the history reports, the main reason that they're successful is people are afraid. And it is a good tool. It's a tool that I use on every vehicle that I buy. I run a history report. It's just one of the 10 tools that I will, of course, talk about in the video. But I consider it a very important tool. The problem is that not everything is reported.
Okay.
And erroneous reports. All you have to do is hit on a VIN number. There's 17 digits.
Right.
You hit on one and it gives something a bad report, just as well as a good report, a clean report. I have people in this industry that I've known over the years that it's their practice to go in to, I can't mention the name of the auction company, but I can tell you that they purchase from a particular auction company cars that have been damaged, that in the history reports it shows that there's no damage. Unless the insurance company is notified and there's a claim, unless there's an accident report or a police report, and the police report and the insurance companies have to be also participating in the program of history reports. Otherwise, you're not going to have anything on there at all that says this car's been wrecked or damaged. So there's a lot of, I go through a lot of cars every week that show clean history reports, so I have to do more. I have to, of course, evaluate and inspect each car individually.
So let me get this straight. So you're telling me that even though the history report may show that there's no problem, that doesn't necessarily mean the car is, for lack of a better word, clean. There can be issues with it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of cars. I was just doing a search the other day. One of my customers is looking for a specific car for their daughter. I go online, I do a across the country search,
Right.
and I'm looking for them, and these cars are graded online with this particular company that I use. And they can be anywhere from a 1.0 to a 5.0, 5.0 being the best.
Okay.
The majority of the vehicles that I looked at were in that 2 to 2.9 range.
So basically mediocre.
Below average.
Below average, okay. All right. Okay.
And I don't, personally, when I'm looking, if anything is below a 4, a 3.9 or down, there's just too much reconditioning involved in order to make it a nice car. And for spending a few $100s more, $500 more, even $1,000 more, I can buy the right car that doesn't require but maybe a couple of spots touched up, maybe 2 tires, and a really thorough detail.
Is that pretty much an average reconditioning expense? What you just mentioned, maybe a few touch-up spots, some buffing out, couple of tires,
yeah.
or is that the norm? Really?
It's average for me, or it's normal for me.
Okay.
The funny thing is that, say a vehicle is a 3.5.
Okay.
And on a 3.5, there's generally a minimum of 10 things that have to be done. Most of those things aren't done. They sell that car in mostly the same condition that they purchase it. And they sell it generally for the exact same price as they would for one that doesn't have the reconditioning, because they both book the same.
Wow, I didn't know that.
They both have the same book.
Okay.
They have the same miles, they're the same color, they got the same equipment, they're the same year, and they're the same model. They book the same. So if it's been damaged and it's not reported, you're paying the same money for a damaged car that you would for a car that's had no damage or no previous history of, rock chips everywhere, a car that's got 50% on the rubber, it's been smoked in, there's a burn hole or two in it from, ash or something flying off your cigarette, or, children throwing up in it, stains you can't get out of the seats or the carpet, or a guy who can't spin in his cup straight.
Okay.
All those kinds of things.
Yeah, it does not lend itself to the most nicer of interiors, that's for sure. Let me ask you this then. So me personally, by looking at the video and downloading, by the way, I have seen the video. I looked through it, and I was very impressed, by the way, with the details and the knowledge that you provide there. I can as I said earlier, I'll be able to duplicate the exact same things, but let me kind of put it on a scaredy sort of way. I get this information, I learn from it, and I go out to a dealership. And I walk in and I'm looking for that 09 Mercedes E-Class, okay? And I look up and I go, that's the car for me, that's the one I found. You think he's gonna look at me a little weird when I start, breaking down the car, running my hand along the fender line and start checking for paint or looking for overall damage to that vehicle? You think he's gonna think I'm a dealer?
I don't know that he'd think you were a dealer, but I can assure you that most salespeople and some management will be intimidated.
Okay.
Because they are not used to, it's almost like somebody telling you something and then you questioning them
Right.
about the authenticity,
Right.
or is it real or not.
Okay.
And if you don't protect yourself, then shame on you. Especially, you just mentioned an '09 E-Class, you're out spending $35,000 or $40,000.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to sell the video, I'm trying to really help people, because $499 with costs, I mean, it's not like you're getting rich.
No.
So you spend the $4.99 or the $12.50 for the video to go out and protect yourself buying a $35,000 or $40,000 vehicle, or $15,000 or $10,000, it doesn't matter. But for $5, you'll have all the information you need to buy the right car. We talked about this once previously, and we mentioned it here earlier. If you took two vehicles that were of the same year, make and model, miles, equipment, color, everything about them, one of them had been damaged and the other one had not, and you don't know, but you pay the same $40,000 for that Mercedes or BMW or Lexus or Corvette, whatever the case may be, and you go away and then you go to trade that car in 2 years and you find out that half of it's been painted due to an accident that wasn't reported or something, where that car's worth a lot less money than the one you would have bought had you had a little bit of information, especially the one question that you can ask that'll protect you from getting harmed. And you are getting harmed, and you're losing a lot of money if you buy a bad car.
No, I agree, and that's why I was wondering, because, I really wouldn't have a problem with being intimidating a salesperson or a sales manager at a dealership. It wouldn't bother me at all, especially when it is my money I'm about to spend. And in so many cases, I do a lot of online looking, and I think a lot of customers, you said, they have so much more information, they're so much more educated, they have a lot of details and descriptions available. I noticed the other day I was on someone else's website, sorry it wasn't yours, but I was looking at someone else's, and in there they said I could do a pre-buy inspection, okay?
Right.
So I was curious about the pre-buy inspection, so I called up and I said, what exactly is a pre-buy inspection? They basically stated a third party would be able to review this car front to back, inside out, basically review the car and see, have there been damage, what is the overall condition of the vehicle, as you were talking about. And I found it kind of curious that someone would offer that when I kind of feel like the car should have already been that way to begin with. And in essence, your video is providing that same detailed information. I think he wanted somewhere around $200, $250 to pre-inspect the vehicle for me, when, again, going back to the video pricing, it wasn't that expensive to find out that I could basically do the same thing he just did. Is that true? Am I off base in assuming that? Or?
Well, here's what I tell my customers that ask me about pre-buy inspections. I tell them I want them to do whatever they feel like they need to do in order to feel good about their purchase and their decision. I have no problem with anybody sending in a secondary source to inspect our vehicles. It's a waste of money when it comes to me, but if that's what's important to them, especially if they're out of state and they can't come in themselves, and like I show in the video, do a personal inspection, or make sure that the carpets aren't stained, or make sure that the car's not all nicked up, because pictures can distort reality, of
In the age of
course.
Photoshop, it can happen.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
With me, of course I can sit here and say it's a waste of time and a waste of money, but with 80% of the people I know in the car business, I'd get a pre-buy inspection.
Okay. All right. Do you think the video pretty much offers the same categories of pre-buy inspection, having the knowledge?
I think that from a cosmetic standpoint, the video gives you everything that you need to know. Now, if you're buying a vehicle and we're talking about the mechanical aspects of it, and it's not still under factory warranty, it would be absolutely and totally foolish for someone to purchase a vehicle without a mechanical, take it to any local mechanic, or like you said, if you're out of state, have somebody else come in and evaluate it for you. Or talk to a service department locally and have the dealer deliver to that dealer to have an independent inspection of the car mechanically. That's only going to cost, it's not going to cost you anything to get it there, because the dealer should provide that service.
Yeah.
And the person doing the inspection is going to cost you somewhere between $35 and $80. If you're out of state and it's not under factory warranty, you absolutely should ask for that.
I know in the video you did mention that is in regards to finding out when the in-service date was of the vehicle. Because I know like on some of the vehicles, like Mercedes and BMW especially, they have what, a 3 or 50,000 mile warranty on the vehicle?
They have 4 years, 50,000.
4 years, 50, sorry, excuse me. And then also BMW offers a maintenance warranty on their vehicle or maintenance policy.
At the time you purchase, you can get a lot of times now in the purchase itself, the maintenance comes with it for the total time of the warranty itself.
Right, depending on
oil changes, things like that.
Depending on the year, what model and all that sort of thing. But what I'm getting at though is that you mentioned that, you know, it's nice to find the in-service date.
Right.
What's left on it.
Right.
What actually is covered under the warranty. You know, you're not just getting a powertrain warranty, you're getting a full warranty.
Right.
Whatever the case may be. I think that would be a money saver there as well. Knowing that, okay, I've got 35,000 miles on this 2-year-old Beamer. And I can still take it to the factory and get it serviced and get work done on it.
Right.
And if something major occurs, I'm out, what, maybe a deductible of $100?
There's no deductible.
There is no deductible?
No, the warranty nowadays goes with the car, not with the person. There's no transfer or any of that kind of stuff. Now, on drivetrain warranties, there is a transferable cost on some makes.
Okay.
But it's minimal and it's worth it.
Okay. So these are little things like, you know, just pointing back to the video.
Right.
What impressed me is that you really leave no stone unturned.
No.
You try and provide as many details and as many what I call tidbits of information that really kind of add up.
Right.
And going through the process, I was really kind of intrigued when you were at the auction, when you were picking apart some of the cars like you do before you buy a car, how do you look at them?
Right.
It really kind of spoke to me in the sense of, do I really want to go to this length to buy a car, or does it really benefit me? And at the end result that I found was, yeah, it did. You know, so a few dollars spent to make sure I was as understanding of that car before I bought it really made a difference.
You know what's really, and from my perspective, and maybe just my perspective only, for a download of $4.99 or a free delivery disc of $12.50, when you're out spending $20, $30, $40, $50,000, we go to Starbucks and spend that on one of those goofy cups of fancy coffees with whipped cream on top.
Well, they're not goofy. They do add up to me and make me awake every day.
I understand the caffeine importance, but you're not spending $20 or $30 or $40,000 for your $4.99, and then at the end of the day, you still got to get another lift from the caffeine. What I'm saying is the evaluation of the product that I'm talking about, for spending the kind of money that we're spending. I mean, this isn't a Model T Ford back in 1905 that's $700. We should invest a certain amount of time to make sure we're getting a really, really good product for our money. Most people are financing their cars. So, I mean, at the end of 1 year, when all that polish wears off, which usually only takes 3 or 4 months, and you start to see what you bought, and it looks like you bought some old piece of mistreated something or other, and you're paying $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 a month, and every time you leave your front door, you're unhappy with the car you're getting in. Why not be happy and know exactly what you're getting in the beginning?
I agree with that. Now, let me ask you this. You know, just looking at everything and what you've accomplished, and the years you've been doing this, and the knowledge that you bring to it, and more importantly, the details of the video that I saw, and again, I've seen it. What 3 things would you say any consumer, anybody who purchases a video, what are the 3 key things they're going to get from this? What do you think is going to be the most important aspect of this video?
Well, I think you brought it up a minute ago. I don't know that I need to mention 3 things. It's all about information.
Okay.
It's all about knowing how to do what I do, which the word I always use is evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the kind of car that I would like to buy and represent to the public and sell to my customers, and know that they're going to be happy and know that there's not going to be any complaints? I can guarantee you in the last 2 or 3 years of my business, I've had less than 5 complaints about anything, and most of them were, could you get me a key fob? Because it only came with 1 key fob, which is something we try to do.
Well, you know, it's funny, I've got a caller on the line. Let's see what his question is or her question is, and see if you can answer it before we get out of here for the day.
Okay.
Hello, how you doing? Welcome to Ecartalks. Hi, Kevin, how you doing? Okay. address this to Alan. What Kevin asks is, why is paint damage so important when reviewing the car? I mean, are you saying that does it make a difference looking for it and knowing about it? Kevin? Hello? Okay, why does paintwork matter?
Kevin, thanks for calling in. It has everything to do with my evaluation of a car and condition, because if a car has paint damage, when I walk up to it and I have to evaluate it, and I have to evaluate it generally quick because I've got thousands of cars to look at in a week's period of time, I don't know how severe the damage was when the car has paintwork. If it has a history report that's clean and it has paintwork, and I have no time to crawl underneath that car and make sure there's not frame damage or some spot welding, which really makes the car almost unsafe, because that car is not going to those crumple zones people talk about when they get in accidents. You don't know if it's going to work the exact same way and protect you in an accident if it's got some kind of a spot weld. Anyways, back to your point. The paintwork is not a big deal. If every car was a complete repaint and there was no metal damage, there wouldn't be anything wrong with the car. But you tell me when you find paintwork what's underneath, and that's what's important, and that's why I walk away.
You got that, Kevin? Okay. Okay, as far as downloading the video or where to go get it, is that what you're asking? Okay, it would be, where can you go get the video information?
www.howtocarshop.com.
You got that? Oh. You're very welcome, sir. Thank you for calling in, all right? So there you go. You've got someone curious about paintwork and the damage and things of that nature. As you pointed out, the question that you really made clear is that it's not so much the damage to the paint, it's what's underneath. So,
yeah, of course, paintwork itself devalues a car and limits your market on dealers that want to deal in the best products on the market. So yeah, the car is going to be less if it has previous paintwork on it. And again, right back to another point. Why would you buy the one with paintwork on it versus the one that doesn't have paintwork when you're paying the same exact price? That's what the video is about. Buying the right product at the right price.
okay, so Alan, so basically if they want to see your information as far as the dealership goes and where you're located and cars you have in inventory, then go to atmcars.com. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And as far as looking at the details of the video, getting all the information on it, and that's going to be at where?
That's going to go at howtocarshop, HOWTOCARSHOP.com, howtocarshop.com.
Okay, and on there, that's where you can get the video, you can download, and that's a cool thing, you can actually download the video. Is that
You
correct?
can download the video for $4.99.
That's kind of really inexpensive just to get a quick video, but yeah, it'll go right to your computer and you can look it over and all that good stuff. The other question I had is that before we leave here, we've got about 30 seconds, wrap it up. Is there anything you'd like for our callers to know or information that we can provide them with?
Well, if there's anything I can ever do for anyone as far as answering questions, market reports, we buy, we sell, we trade. I have a big locator service. All of my previous customers usually have something that they want. We have to go out and find it for them. We can do that for you. But you can also call me anytime at 800-960-0225, and I'll get you any information you need.
Well, that's great. So anytime they can call you there, they can reach you live through your website, atmcars.com. I'm sure there's rather numbers and also email addresses available to them as well.
Yep.
You've been doing this 39, almost 40 years now. So
Yep.
I'd like to think you have a little bit of knowledge in doing this. I wish you best of luck in your future endeavors, and especially with the video. Like I said, looking it over, it's detailed, it's informative, it's got a lot going for it, and I really do wish you much success with it.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're very welcome. Folks, join us again next week. We're going to talk a little bit more about internet buying and what that means to you. Specifically, the aftermarket effects such as warranties and financing and the details there. Can you really get the best finance rates online? And what are the warranties available for you? So again, this is Randy with Ecartalks. We look forward to seeing you guys next week, and you have a wonderful day. Take care.